Still in Nigeria, banks are owing telecommunication companies over 200 billion naira for unstructured supplementary service data. Chairman of the Association of Licensed Telecommunications Operators of Nigeria, Benga Adebayo, revealed this yesterday in Lagos, while highlighting the many challenges faced by telecom operators. Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu joins me now for more on these stories. Good morning to you, Mr. Chika. It's great to have you on the show. Very well, thanks. And yourself?
Friday.
Yes, thank God. Very excited about that. Well, let's begin with telco operators asking banks to pay the USSD debt. Now, $200 billion, that's quite the figure to have racked up. What do we make of this?
This problem has been on the table for some time now, and it almost seemed intractable. And I thought by now that it would have resolved somehow. For our viewers, this leads to the USSD. I think the full meaning is unstructured supplementary service data. But let's not bore our viewers with that meaning. But the issue is that for anybody who's doing the star something, whether you're transferring money using the star something for the bank.
Mr. Chika, let's take a very quick break. We need to test your sound a little bit. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us. We have lots more for you to come. You're watching the Global Business Report here on Arise News. Many thanks as favors. I'm still here with Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu, and we were chatting about the telco operators asking Nigerian banks to pay up the USSD debt. Let's get back into it.
Yeah, thank you, Abby. The issue boils down to the fact that who will charge the customer?
Absolutely.
Who will appear the bad boy to the customer? And so the banks are saying, telcos, do it like a normal service. When your customers press the star something, charge them immediately for it. Don't make it a responsibility. The telcos are saying, the banks, this is services for you. Charge the customers and then the bank customers and then credit also the money. And so in that way, you wonder why it's not easy to do, because nobody wants to appear the killer for the customer who's already burdened by so many charges. So that has been the major issue. The last CBN governor plus the former NCC chairman tried to diffuse this issue because of the importance of that sector. A lot of people use it at more at the bottom of the pyramid, and the central bank is pushing, or the country is pushing financial inclusion. That service is very key for financial inclusion, especially for people on the bottom of the pyramid in the banking system. So that's why it's very important. Now, also, you notice that the perspective, the banks the telcos are making a lot of money from Nigeria in banking, because you see, SMS is dying worldwide. I'm sure you know that already. But in Nigeria, they're making a lot of revenues because it's mandatory for all our customers to the banks to have SMS for your bank transactions, unless you give a disclaimer to the bank. That's a CBN directive. So they're making a lot of money on that. So the issue then, therefore, for me, as I put it out there, is that the new CBN governor, there's a new NCC chairman, and they let them coalesce the banks, the two parties together, and try to resolve this issue, and then let's know who will carry the charge. That's basically what the problem is there.
But could we talk about the likely implications on bank customers should the operators actually decide to shut down? Of course, I'm looking at the worst case scenario now, but what could possibly roll out of that?
It would be a national calamity. Those kind of things that they can happen, but they shouldn't happen. That's why it has not happened. Because the telcos, of course, to push this recovery of this should actually, drop the services. But it's difficult for them to drop the services, because there are other ancillary incomes that come from, relationship with the banks, as I mentioned to you, the SMS, and it's a national service, remember. So the telcos will be seen as, enemies of the system, and that's why they have not done this. And that's why I'm pushing out there that the Central Bank Governor, realizing that this is a very important service for the banking value chain, must, meet with the NCC people, bring all the parties together, and then let's find a resolution to this. Amicably, and so that, the service can continue.
Right.
Because of this, a lot of banks have stopped investing on this USSD, modernizing it, because of the uncertainties around it. And any service they're not invested in tends to get extinct.
Right, so it's a question of who will bail the cat. In this case, no one wants to be the bad guy. But let's go very quickly to Nigeria's borrowings. Of course, surely now, this is no news.
I mean, what is new?
We've been ringing this tune for quite a bit, haven't we?
I mean, but you see, in looking at the whole basket of things, NSA about 2 days ago said they inherited a bankrupt country. Remember, it's all there in the news. So everywhere you go, you hear things about the state of our economy. I said that I thank God that Nigeria didn't, maybe in a funny way, didn't transit from a party in power to an opposition party, because we would have spent the first 1 year doing this probing and what went wrong and what didn't go wrong. So all the lies that were told in the last 8 years, have come home to roost. So our economy is in chariot. But I keep talking about in this program that God blessed us with oil. Our fiscal economy is messed up because a country that used to pump 2 million barrels a day is now pumping barely 1 million barrels a day. All the other ones are stolen. And this is Commonwealth. And so I'm saying that I like the junketing. I like the going to Dubai and going to India and going to Saudi Arabia and whatever. But the president should come home and go and call a town hall meeting for all the oil belts and meet the communities like Yaradua did in those days and ramped up our production to 2 million barrels a day and threw out the powers of the state against all these people who have been stealing our oil. Move our production back to 2 million barrels a day. Our fiscal, all this borrowing and all this dollar thing will substantially reduce. That is our major problem. And then he can focus on all the things God has given to us. Instead of going around as a beggarly nation, we have solid minerals. There's so many things we have. But we all talk and no do. Nigeria is talk and no, we should do talk and do as Nigerians say. But Nigeria, we don't talk. We just talk, we don't do. There are things to do immediately to salvage our economy, ramp up our oil production back to what it used to be. Yeah. And then our revenues will return back to the level.
Yeah, so let's get into
the whole
action,
power of the nation towards all these people who have their own individual pipes, and oil thefts reduce substantially, All
right.
And it will help our economy. Otherwise, what the minister is saying is known. It's
it's certainly a ringing tune. We've heard it so many times.
So are you surprised, therefore? Are you surprised, therefore, that, as I said, where would the money come from running the government?
Very important question,
because
Mr.
Chika. Because it will go back to the ways and means. Watch out.
Yes, lots to watch out for, because you've mentioned some very cogent points. It's all about action. Let's see if we get in there. But very quickly, let's move on to PCE Tax decision. Now to lay off, 33 employees across the UAE and the Europe. What's that all about?
Okay, see, the fintech, I was speaking to some group last week, and I said, like, a lot of things in Nigeria, a lot of Nigerians do a lot of bandwagon things. And, Abi is selling rice and is moving rice, and so rice is doing really well. Everybody just jump into selling rice, and without understanding the dynamics of the market. You see, the fintech revolution in Nigeria, all over the world, let's say Nigeria has been, a mountain for this revolution. A lot of people have stepped out without looking at the right models that will suit their business. And in that process, have accumulated, costs that the business cannot sustain. So a lot of people are realizing now that the revenues that they are coming through their businesses, the single cents and dollars are coming in, do not match the kind of expenditures I've made in the robust offices I've established internationally, the international employees I've employed. And so if you notice what Space has said, this office is made of, I think it's in Dubai or whatever, they want to do things now using the locals in the countries where they are based. So they're pushing a lot of things back to the base. And so increasingly, a lot of the fintech people are looking at their business models and trying to match profitability or the revenues with the kind of expenditures they have been incurring. Now, I have been talking to the regulatory authorities for a long time. I said that I have a problem with the models a lot of them are running, because you have the fintech in front who starts with a lending company with a base on capital. The next thing, they go and acquire a microfinance banking license behind. And so look at all of them. All of them have microfinancing banking license. Look at what happened to Kuda about last year when they saw a result that they made about 6 billion naira loss. And so when you are running a deposit-taking institution, there are models to run. There's a lot of issues about fraud, controls, corporate governance, transaction costs, and so on and so forth, which a lot of people have just stepped out to go and do without taking those into consideration. And it becomes expensive. Now, you have 30 people now who are going to become jobless, who are international staff. They, thought they had the dream jobs in Dubai. And sometimes they're expatriate staff. And now they're going to lose their jobs because they've gone back to the real model they're using running your business.
It's very interesting and important that you mentioned it, that it's a pretty classic case of biting off a lot more than you can chew, and other people have to suffer for it. But many thanks. I really wish we could get into it in more detail. But Arise business analyst, Mr. Chika Mbonu, many thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again.